what I thought we'd make today are these little coffee cozies. They're so fun. They're really, really wonderful to give as gifts too. For that person that you always see with a Starbucks or their favorite coffee or tea place. What makes these special is they have a pocket to hold your punch card or your stamp card for the particular business that you frequent. So each one of these I made a little bit different to show you different ways to attach the Velcro. Some of them are very, very adjustable. They can be very large for extra large drinks, or even maybe a small frozen yogurt. So all you're going to need, though, for your pattern is one of the paper cuffs that they give you when you get your coffee. And all I did was just take it apart, and this created my pattern. Now what I did was, a couple of years ago, I was making many of these as gifts and actually selling them at craft show time. And what I did was I made a template that was a little more permanent. And I went to the dollar store and I purchased a placemat that was clear-ish, has a little chevron design, but it was mostly clear. So if I wanted to do a fussy cut, I could see through it. And how I made my template was I laid this one on top of it, and I built in my seam allowance. So there is a half an inch all the way around. So, and another thing that I did was, you can see that these edges are very, very sharp. And, I just didn't like that as well as I liked a soft, rounder look. So when I laid it down and I traced out my template, I just rounded my edges. Now, if you think that you want your Velcro completely tucked into the product, to this, you're going to want to extend this probably even a half inch more so that you have plenty of room for maybe even a larger drink. If not, follow it exact and it should work out just fine. So my supplies are, this piece is 11 by 9. I used this fabric for a previous project, you might remember, the little bag that we made. And this is part left over from that, and it's interfaced. You don't really need to interface this one because you're going to have some batting to use, and that'll make it a really nice texture. But I'm going to go ahead and use this because I have the right size piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of batting, make sure it's at least 11 inches wide. You're going to lay this on top of that. Really make sure you did a good job covering it, because you don't want to have any lapses in batting. It just makes this not uniform, all the way around. Then I'm going to take my template, lay it on top of it, and I'm going to draw all the way around. And this makes it really nice because, as I said, I already have my seam built in. So easy peasy. What I like to do here, because you're going to have an opening to turn it inside out, is I just do this. And it reminds me to stop sewing right there. And that's about 4 inches across, by the way. Okay, and you're also going to need another piece that is 4 inches by 8 inches. This piece does need to be interfaced. This is your pocket, and you do want that nice and stiff so that when you're taking your card in and out, it has really good wearability. Okay, so you take that and you interface it, fold it in half. You're going to take this over to your sewing machine, and the half does not need to be sewn. That's already together, but this part here, you're going to want to go and put a 1/4 inch seam in right there. When you're done with that, you're going to come back, turn it inside out, and we're going to press it. Okay, so I went ahead and I sewed my 1/4 inch seam. Carefully turn that inside, or right side out actually. Add a good little press. Now I need to go back to my machine because this is the time that I like to put a nice little decorative stitch right here, very much like this one. It is also a good time if you want to embroider, if you have an embroidery machine that you want to do a little monogram with their initials here. You can even put your favorite team's logo on there. This is a really good time, and actually the only time to do that. So, but I'm just going to go ahead and put a little top stitch here on the sides. Leave these open ends open. Okay, so I went ahead and I did my little 1/4 inch top stitch. I didn't do anything fancy because my fabric is already very busy and you probably wouldn't notice anything anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over the piece that I traced. I'm going to leave the 3 pieces together, and I'm going to pin this because I don't want it moving around when I cut it out. We haven't talked about the Velcro yet because it's not even a very big deal at this point. I do like the rounded corners too, much better than trying to follow their little cardboard exact. It's kind of clumsy actually. The rounded corners make it easier all the way around, and I think it looks better. Alrighty then. Okay, so I'm going to remove my pins. I'm going to fold this one up. Make sure that you put the 2 sides that you did your top stitching on right in the middle. It should overlap just a little bit so that you can really see well that you caught it into the seam that you're going to be sewing. Again, let's use a 1/4 inch, but be very, very careful to make sure you catch all the pieces. Whenever I'm going to go around any kind of bend or corner, I shorten my stitch length. My machine defaults at 2.5. I have a digital machine, and I like to bring it down to about a 2. Okay? Okay, and that's all the time we have today. Till next time, happy sewing.